Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Rustin Mirsafavi on behalf of the Virtual Biotech Industry Showcase. I'm here today with Giorgio Chirikian, and he is representing Medtronic. And today, Giorgio is going to give us a presentation overviewing Medtronic and some of the technologies that Medtronic has implemented and develops, as well as a little bit more specific of what Giorgio works on. So without any more delay, I'll let Giorgio take it away.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Rustin. My name is Giorgio Chirikian. I work for Medtronic Diabetes, located in Northridge, California, which is in the valley just north of Los Angeles. I'm here to just present you some information on our company and what we do, and then break it down into specifically the markets that we deliver our devices to, and then how you can be impactful to Medtronic as an employee. So let's get started. So I work for a medical device company that is worldwide, right? We try to improve the lives of people all around the world. We have a lot of different medical technologies, and you may have heard of Medtronic as the pacemaker company, as the diabetes pump maker, or even the deep brain stimulation experts. But as you see the slide here, we are much more than that. We serve a lot of different people with a lot of different medical conditions. We actually serve more than 70 different medical conditions that we try to improve, whether that's improving, having medical devices that help stimulate that, or having different, with pacemakers, with diabetes insulin pumps, or deep brain stimulation. We try to treat 70 different conditions all around. We serve upwards of 47,000 patients around the world with all these with those 70 plus conditions. And so not only are we, we have a broad portfolio of devices, but we serve, globally. We're a global company with over 90,000 employees. So we'll break this down into three things, right? Who are we, right? What do we do, and how do we do it? So first off, who are we, right? This is going to be, this is our founder, Earl Bakken. He founded the company in the 1940s. I think it's 1939 when he came out with his first external pacemaker. So we started off as a pacemaker company, and over the years, as we grew older, we actually acquired different companies to then with different technologies and expanded our portfolio. So here on our right is actually Earl Bakken with this is the external pacemaker, and I think this is. He created the first pacemaker in 1957, as you can see up here on the right. And our bottom, and on the left side, you can see one of the external pacemakers being put onto a patient there. So this is where we started. As you can see here, this shows the innovation over the years. So you can see Medtronic was founded in 1949. And over the years, this goes all the way down to 2019. We can see how you've created an external pacemaker. You've gone to a heart valve in 1977. We've gone to neurostimulation in 1983, diabetes in 2001. And as we kind of go through this timeline and these big acquisitions, in 2015, Covidian, you can see we've started treating more and more different diseases or conditions. I specifically work for the diabetes business unit. So we have all technology related to diabetes care. And I'll get into that a little bit later. So what we do, right? A little bit more about us here. So we treat, as I mentioned before, 70 different conditions in the human body. And I don't have it as detailed as I want it to be, but basically here are certain areas where we treat with, brain being deep brain stimulation. We have, the heart and vascular, we have the pacemaker, heart valves, things like that. We have diabetes, which is insulin pumps, or maybe even daily injectables, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different things we have. We actually just partnered with Tesla to create, ventilators, right? So that's something like we also do. We also go ahead and Sorry about that. I don't know if you can see that. So we have a lot of different technologies spanning across the entire body. And so that's just the main point of the slide here. How we do it. So a little bit more about the company itself. We as a global medical device company have over 90,000 employees. We have over 10,000 scientists and engineers and over 1,600 clinical professionals, right? So where do I fall in? I fall into the 10,000, right? I'm an engineer. Clinical professionals to be treating certain populations and clinical studies on new devices that are coming up. And employees may be, the 90,000 employees may be just, our manufacturing sites or our distribution sites, people who we employ to help get the product to certain locations or assemble the actual product. Down here, you can see more details on, how much money we invest in R&D and so on and so forth. So. Here's a slide that shows where we operate, right? We operate in over 150 plus companies, whether that's a distribution center or design house, headquarters, design site, all around the world, right? We've organized this into 4 different regions, right? The Americas, the EMEA, which is the Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Greater China, and Asia Pacific. We have 41 different distribution sites all around the world. And we have 75 different manufacturing sites which manufacture those specific technologies. So as a employee, you can be in any of those locations, right? And I'll guide you more into where you guys would fit. Here's something about our culture, right? And as a Medtronic, this is pushed out globally, and we try to have the same structure everywhere, where the culture is driven by the people that the core organization is made up of. Our people are trained and are emphasized in being courageous, being patient-oriented, patient-focused, accountable, and preventative, right? With all that stuff, we tend to use that to go ahead and push those expertise into our products and our customer experience, which then I guess are have a foundation with what you can see out here, which is the product development, supply management, manufacturing, and so forth, right? So this is how we treat our customers, with our foundation being our people and our culture. Our business is broken down into 4 different business units. So Medtronic as a whole is broken into 4 different business units, one being CVG, or cardiac and vascular group. We have the diabetes group, which is what I'm in, the MITG, which is the minimally invasive therapies group, and the RTG group, which is the restorative therapies group. And as you can see, this is how they broken down to their therapies. Our specific therapy is more, we treat type 1 and type 2 patients with our diabetic therapies. And I'll break down each one and then go into my specific one that I could speak a lot to. So our cardiac vascular group prepares a lot of different products, and you can see on the right here are examples of our products that this group specifically creates and manufactures and distributes these products, right? So here are examples, so I'll let you go ahead and read that. This you'll have in this group more of the the pacemaker, and you got the heart valve as well. So these are a lot of different technologies related to the cardiac and vascular systems of the body. The second group being MITG, you have a lot of different ones here. You can see the navigation system here. These are all recently developed and released devices. The third group being the RTG group, more brain therapy, pain therapies, spine, and specialty therapies. And the last group being the diabetes group, and that's the one I'm in. So I can go ahead and break that down into a little bit more detail. So our headquarters, where we design the product and everything, is in Northridge, California. We have a call center out in San Antonio. We have a bunch of different other headquarters out across in different regions, as you can see over here. But the engineers, most of the engineers are all located at diabetes, right? This is where we design everything, and this is where we do prototypes and do clinical studies. We may send those clinical studies out to specific locations, but everything usually comes out of our diabetes group at Northridge. So I'm going to talk a little bit about disease and then talk about the therapies. The disease is projected, the diabetes is projected to impact 1 of 3 people in the US by 2050, right? So our goal is to provide therapies for this disease, for that population in the future. So we specialize in insulin pumps and other type of therapies for this population. Diabetes can lead to a lot of different things, and here's a list of things that it can lead to if it goes untreated. Here's another projection of what's going on, and the reason why I wanted to show this is kind of pertaining to our situation today with having a pandemic, right? Diabetes is an epidemic, and it's going to get worse as time goes on. And so what our goal is to help treat those people. And we have on the bottom here is the technology is being released as the epidemic is going on, and it doesn't look like it's getting slowing down. So we as engineers or scientists need to go ahead and help treat these people, help invent technologies to help this population in the future. This is one of our last slides that I'll spend a lot of my time on. This is specifically the technology that we have created and that you as a future employee will get a chance to be a part of. I specifically work as part of the 670G and 630G systems. So I work on specific components that are made into this pump. And I also work on the infusion sets over here on the right? So I'm a supplier quality engineer. So what I do is basically we have developed and proven our design, and we get the drawings that is solidified during the clinical trials and everything that goes into it. I get those designs and I have to bring it out to the suppliers and make sure that we qualify them so that they can meet our requirements, and that we have to go ahead and put a package together for the FDA to approve that this supplier can make that product. So I work on the more downstream end. There's a lot of different realms you can work as a future engineer, right? You can go ahead and go into R&D and become an engineer that works on developing these technologies. You would prove out specific theories. You would prove that the device can work. You would work on design. You may work on CAD modeling, all these different type of things. And that's all in R&D, right? You can work in operations, which would help bring the design up front to manufacturing. That's a different type of engineering, but still engineering nevertheless. Or you can work more upfront with me, right? Where I work more downstream, where I can go ahead and the design is already solidified and I have to work on making sure the product can be made. And if there's any issues that are in the field, we go and help, investigate and then go try to find the problem and kind of problem solve. So that kind of is anywhere, you can, as an engineer, you can kind of fit into any of that. So those are the realms that I think that as an engineer, future scientist, you can go into. For me, I find it very fascinating because we get patients into our town halls and we actually have them give their stories. I've actually had people walk up to me, and as I'm wearing this shirt and it has Medtronic right here, I've actually had people walk up to me and ask me, oh, I have this pump and I actually am on the 630G and I really love it. I want to know like what you do for it. And I actually have these stories where I can, explain, I actually worked on that part that, is part of this pump, and it's really cool to connect that to the patient. So I've had some really cool experiences where you meet people and you get to see how it impacts their lives. And that's been very interesting, really fun for me. One of the greatest things about my job is I get to actually travel to these specific locations where these parts or subcomponents are made. And I get to talk to the people on the ground. I get to see how it's made. I get to, actually visit these locations. And so that for me is actually the best part about it. Other than that, I think that's my presentation for Medtronic diabetes.
Thank you very much, Giorgio. That was a wonderful presentation. And I, for one, got a lot out of it, learning about Medtronic and all the different realms, basically, that they operate in. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I think we'll end our meeting today, and I want to thank you one more time. Thanks, Giorgio, and thank you also to Medtronic for allowing us to, get a little more insight into their company.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.